All right. Last night I watched You Only Die Twice, the James Bond movie, and I have a lot to say about it. I'm going to start with a handful of positives real quick before we get really into it. I like the premise. I thought it was an interesting start to the premise. You know, James Bond got too famous, too well known. He has to fake his death. That makes sense, you know. That's why that makes sense. We're so far removed from the Cold War that we know what spy tactics worked and didn't, and they obviously they were in the middle of it. Of course, they're not quite sure. We have great movies like the Bourne Identity movies. They're like, hey, here's how people get around that now. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I thought that was a good way to start. I also was so excited when I got to finally see the face of the number one guy, because then I'm like, oh my god, that's the guy that Austin Powers parodies. I've seen a bit of that. I knew about the parody of the bald guy with the scar and the cat, and I was really excited to finally see where that came from. And I was also really excited to see that siege on the main base. That is kind of reminds me of there's a Simpsons episode that I think might be inspired by this. Don't quote me on that, but it's all the same vibe. So those are my highlights. Very short. This is the first movie that has prompted me to address what I've been not necessarily ignoring, but haven't really addressed in these videos yet, which is James Bond is kind of racist. Not kind of, it is racist. At first it was very time period expected things. I expected them to be racist towards black people. I expected them to be sexist. This is just where it starts. I've addressed the sexism a little bit, but if you're not a white male American or British guy, they're being racist, or prejudiced or whatever. And it was obvious in the early ones, okay, everyone, how they're treating everyone's kind of rough. All the women are either ditzy and dumb, or they're very, they're villains, but they're all easily seduced by James Bond, instantaneously. He winks at them and they fall into his lap. Yeah, in this one, he disguises himself as a Japanese man. So not good. Not good at all. Just kind of throughout the whole thing, they feel like somebody, you ever, I don't know if you've ever heard someone call someone a weeb in a bad way. This is what it makes me think of. It's so bad. So bad. He doesn't just disguise himself with, eye makeup and everything as Japanese, and all the women are super subservient, and all this nonsense, and it's bad. Don't know what can't say what life was like in the 60s, but I can tell you without a doubt that that's kind of racist. And I think that all of them are. I've heard some pretty bad things about the books, actually. But yeah, it was rough. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. Started great, did not. Middle section was rough. Whole middle section was really rough.